What is going on, everybody? It is Frank the Tank, and welcome to week number 7 of this Summer League series. There's only one thing to talk about here, and that is the standings for the Summer League. So, I usually don't talk about this, or actually, I haven't even talked about this at all because I feel it's not really that important. It's not what we're here for because the main subject in this series is my performance in League. So, really, I never bring it up because of that, but because of how interesting this is starting to get, and how this whole thing is starting to play out, I feel like you guys should know the update about this. So it's getting pretty interesting. So that's what I want to try to recap with you guys, and I'll try to make it as clear as I possibly can. I know any of you who are new to this stuff, it's going to be a little confusing, but any of you who are very experienced out there will easily catch up on this stuff and will understand it. But yeah, that's what I want to update you guys on, and yeah, so there are 14 weeks of league, and we are on week number 7. So we have reached the halfway point of this league. So yeah, without further ado, I'm going to give you a quick little recap of this. And I'll try to be as clear as possible, but, I'm not very good at explaining this stuff, but bear with me. I'll try the best I can. So here is our little recap. Okay, guys, so starting off this recap, we're going to rewind back to week number 6. So prior to the start of week 6, these were the standings. So if you look here, this is us, Team 6. Yeah, I know, we couldn't come up with a name, so we just decided, let's just call ourselves Team 6. So that is what we call ourselves, Team 6, and we're in 3rd place with 11 points, not too far from 1st place, which is who has 13 points. So we were going to be on lanes 7 and 8 for week 6, and we were going up against team number 7. And as you can see, team 7 right here in 7th place with 7 points. Clearly, the number 7 is destined for this team. So the thing that made this interesting, if any of you guys watched week 6, they pre-bowled. They didn't show up because they pre-bowled. So, and then we got to see their scores before, we even got this thing started. And we saw, we managed to do the math, and we saw their averages compared to their scores, and we found that they didn't do too well. So we knew that we had this one in the bag, but we knew we had to stay focused. We couldn't celebrate too early, if you know what I mean. So we knew not to underestimate or anything like that, because, we could easily get ahead of ourselves and think, oh, this is going to be easy. And then we end up going, so we knew we had to stay focused, and we had to bowl the best we could, try to either reach our averages or definitely go way higher than that, because we saw based on their scores that they didn't really do that all too well. So and then not only that, the thing that made this interesting was if you look at week number 7, the team that we were due to face for week 7 is team number 1. See that right there, 6 and 1. And team number 1 is the ones that are leading this thing with 13 points. And they, for week 6, were due to go against team number 4, which are in last place. So we knew they could easily bag a couple of points and get even further up, and it would be harder to reach them, or we might get lucky and suddenly the team in last place right here might suddenly bowl a really good one and keep team 1 within range. But we knew, we couldn't think about any of that. We just had to, bowl the best we could, and, hope to God that it all works in our favor. And we managed to clean sweep, and I don't know what team 1 did, but all we could do was just wait and see what the results were going to be. And for week 7 came along, which is this week, and these are the results now. So going into week 7, as you can see, we managed to take the lead, but only just. Take a look at this. Team number 5 are tied with us, and we're now battling for the lead with 15 points apiece, while team number 1 are now in 3rd with 13 points still. So they did not clean sweep. They did not win their series. They didn't even bag a single point whatsoever. They let the other guys walk all over them, and as a result, let them gain a place. So this is going to be an interesting one, because like I said, for week 7, which is this week, we're going to be facing them. So we know we have a chance to run away with it, because we found out for this week of league that team 5 did not show up. So that gives the other team a chance to be able to, get back into this as well. So the thing that makes this interesting is not only are we facing team 1, who are now in 3rd place. Take a look at this. For week number 8, we're going to have to be back on lanes 1 and 2, and look who we are facing. Number 5, Team number 5. So we're battling for the lead on the pair that I hate so much. So this is going to be an interesting one, but we definitely have a chance to run away with it because now not only are we battling Team 1 who are still in the fight, but we are now battling the team who are battling us for the lead. So we have a chance to run away with it. So let's just get into this thing because it's getting real interesting. So based on the title of the video, I know you guys are eager to see what happens. So let's just get this thing going. Okay, everybody, so here we go. Week number 7 about to get started. And another thing that I forgot to mention about these standings is team number 5, who are tied with us for the lead at 15 points apiece. They are also the team that we faced in the very first week of league. So how funny is that? The team that we faced first are the team that we're battling in the lead for. So anyway, here we go, about to get this thing started on the left lane, and I decided, I figured I'd start as right as I possibly could, so I picked up the 0 gravity to begin things. And based on that shot, I stood too far to the right. I didn't realize that I was actually standing in the wrong spot. I lined up in the wrong spot with that 0 gravity, but I hadn't used that ball in quite a long time that I forgot where I stand. And you see, that's kind of why when I go to practice, I alternate with my equipment so that I remember exactly where I stand for every ball and, you know, remember how they shape and everything. So I didn't do that, and I probably should write this stuff down because, you know, having to remember, you know, it's just too much. And funny enough, I think a lot of pros out there actually recommend that anyway, that you have like a notebook or something and write all your information down because it's a lot less overwhelming, that's for sure. So here we go on the right with the 0 gravity, and again, I'm still too much to the right. I did move a couple boards left after what happened on that left lane, but for that shot, I still was not left enough. So now I have the 3, 6, 9, 10 to deal with, the one thing that I have to spare that I hate. I've been told that it's one of the hardest non-split spares to try to, you know, to convert. And I believe it. And the ball never picked up, and I don't even think I put anything on it. It looked like it had forward roll, and as a result, into the gutter, and an open already in the second frame. Great way to start. So we knew for a fact that these guys were not going to make it easy for us if we wanted to get some points on the board because they only had 3 people on their team, but their averages were still pretty good compared to ours. One guy, their lowest average is a 169. Their middle guy has a 190 average, and their best guy has a 207 average. So we definitely didn't want to think, how were they going to bowl? Were they going to bowl really good? Were they going to have an off night? We don't know. We just had to focus, try to do the best we could. And that one went slow down the lane, but I think I finally found the spot where I was supposed to stand for that. But that ball traveled down the lane a little slower than expected, and as a result, I fought off a split, but still. So at this point, I kind of started to think maybe I shouldn't use this 0 gravity because I can't remember where I was supposed to line up with this ball. I had already forgotten, and I'm not really feeling too confident in trying to play whatever that path was that I needed to play with that 0 gravity. And I definitely didn't want to try to fight with myself, trying to think, no, I need to figure this out, or should I switch? You know, I wasn't about to get in this conflict with myself. If it didn't feel right, then I should definitely just switch. And one thing that I definitely try to refrain from doing is switching from bowling ball to bowling ball so much. But at the same time, like I said, I don't want to get caught in that battle with myself with like trying to like figure out what to do with that one ball and then struggling and wasting frames. I didn't want to do that. So yeah, right there, I switched to the Rubicon, as we all saw what it did for me the past week. Fantastic ball. So I brought it back into the lineup, and unfortunately on that lane, I instantly started to take note of how the ball was hooking just a little more on this right lane. Because I stood in the exact same spot that I did last week on this pair with the Rubicon, if that makes any sense. I believe I was on 23 last week with the Rubicon, so I stood on 23 here, and as you could see what happened there, I did throw the ball a little slower, but at the same time, we have to keep in mind topography plays a factor here. So another 9 spare for the books, no problem. So here we go with back-to-back 9 spares, trying to get a strike. Now we got the Rubicon on the left, standing on 23, just like I did on the right. Great form. And there we go. You see, that's what I was looking for. So we knew now that the left lane is like normal, but the right lane was going to be slightly different. All right. So I think after that that shot, I believe I moved to 23 and a half. And I did get a little quicker with that one, but still didn't really make it to the pocket. It went kind of high there. But I was very lucky that I fought off a split there. But I was kind of a little worried that I was going to be sticking at the foul line. But I knew there was nothing I could do about it. I just had to deal with it. All right, back to the left. That one seemed a little left of target. And not only that, it did seem kind of slow. Somehow all 10 fell, and I swear, I don't think I've ever seen a shot where the ball kind of looks like it goes through the nose, and then all 10 fall. But hey, it happened. It just happened. All right, so here we go on the right lane. And take a look at this. I lined up on board 24 for this. And you see my reaction. I'm like, really? Come on now. I was thinking at this point, should I ball change? Because, like, if I'm going to be making moves left, I may as well just pick up the dart code. So another split to lower my max score, and things were not looking good for this start to week 7. Okay, so not wanting to get caught in that battle of trying to figure things out and making moves, wasting frames, I just decided, screw this, we'll put the Rubicon back and we'll make the switch to the dart code and see what happens. Again, I know too much of the ball change, I'm trying to refrain from doing that, but it didn't feel right, so picked up the dart code, and after that, something clicked. I'm like, there we go, that's what I'm looking for, I'm comfortable again, dart code it is. Alright, so we made it to the 10th frame. We're now on the right lane, and we're going to test out this dart code. And for this, well, first off, for that left lane, that shot on the left lane, I stood on 27, so I did the same thing. I lined up on 27 on this right lane, and here's what happened. Good shot. But unfortunately, that happened. So that, for me, became the indication that this lane is indeed just a little bit drier than the left lane. So I was definitely going to have to make a move to the left. So I tried to go for it, but didn't work out, and I ended up with an open to end this in the 10th frame to end this game. And we have a very, very weak start to the series, 155. So all my teammates actually, they met their averages, or they beat their averages. So that indeed confirmed for me that we lost game 1 because of me, and I felt terrible about that. And I knew for a fact that now things needed to get serious. I knew what I needed to do based off of that shot. I knew the moves that needed to be made. I knew what was going on in this left lane. Things were good, but this right lane, I was hoping that I wasn't going to have to waste frames trying to figure out what was going on. But I felt like all I needed to do was maybe just make a half board move and try that. If it didn't work, keep moving. And yeah, I knew for a fact that I was definitely going to have to make up for that, because even though, you know, my teammates don't really care about the standings either, they just bowl for fun, I felt terrible. So yeah, the play time is over. It's time to get serious for game 2. Okay, guys, so here we go for game number 2. I did what I said I was going to do. I was going to move from 27 to 27 and a half and see what would happen. So here we go, lining up on 27.5, sliding God knows where. Messenger took out the 9, but I took note of that. I thought, okay, 9 pin could have stayed there. I was lucky that the messenger took it out, so clearly I still need to make another move to the left. So this time I decided the next time I'm on the right lane, I'm going to go to 28. Okay, so I very quickly want to discuss a comment that was left on my video from last week, and this comment was left by Mike Johnson. He says, and I quote, "You were talking about and envisioning shot shape from your laydown point to the break point. Concentrate more on that than any exact board or half board you stand on, since you drift on approach, which is a norm for two-handers." Mike, I do want to let you know that actually I don't worry about where I line up. I don't even think about it, because what I do is, and this is probably something I recommend for all of you, either get a notebook and write it down where you are lining up, or put it down on your phone. And that's actually what I do. Like, I created a little thing here where I write down where I line up on the left lane and the right lane, so I don't have to think about it and I don't have to worry too much about it. So yeah, in order to eliminate that, that's what I do. I put it down in my phone. And Mike, I assure you that what I think about the most is envisioning shot shape, my lay down area, whatever, you know, like my target, all that stuff. I worry about that more than anything. I don't care about where I line up or anything. And in fact, I actually have a tendency to forget where I line up, and that is why I put it down in my notes section in my phone. So I really wanted you to know that. So here we go on the left lane, standing on 27 still. Haven't made any moves here. And things are still working out for the best. All right, on the right lane now, and I made the move to 28 after that 9-pin messenger. There we go, lining up on 28, and there we go. Then that's when that's when I felt so much better. I was relieved, the confidence was back, I suddenly felt locked in, everything was good. And I hope no one takes this the wrong way, but I only talk about, you know, where I stand, what kind of move I make, when I make it, because obviously I feel like many of you are learning from me, and I feel like this, even the littlest things help, even if it sounds unnecessary. But that's why I talk about it so much, so that you guys know what I'm doing out there. And just because I talk about it so much doesn't mean that I am worrying about it out there. Believe me, I don't think about where I'm lining up at all. I'm thinking more about trying to execute the shot that I want, trying to focus on where my laydown area is, the path that I want that ball to go, my target down lane, the break point, all that stuff. That's really what I'm thinking about. So here we go on the left. I threw that one slow. That one was very slow. And I knew it too. That's why I stood up on it. I'm like, Frank, what are you doing? And I'll be honest with you, that my nerves got the best of me. Okay, here we go in the 5th frame after an open in the 4th. And a 3-bagger, that hurt a little bit. Fell off on my form. But I didn't care because, okay, this is going to sound weird, but even though my form was ugly at the foul line, for some reason, I was too focused on trying to execute the shot that I wanted. So if my form had to look ugly like that, if I had to fall off my form in order to get that shot that I wanted, then so be it. So yeah, I feel like one of the very important things you need to know out there is recognizing your own mistakes. If you go up there and you don't know what you did wrong, then that is not good. But for example, like on this left lane, I knew I threw it slow, so I knew not to do that again. And see that? I threw that with a little more juice, and there you go. All right, back on the right, on 2 in a row, working on trying to get 3. No moves made. Still good, 3 in a row. All right, back on the left, on 3 in a row, working on trying to get 4. Not bad. A little more to the right, but still, I had misroom thanks to this dart code. And thanks to the house shot as well. I guess I gotta give it that. So if I didn't mention this before, well, I'm going to mention it now. And if I have already said it, well, I'm going to say it again. The difference between house shot and sports shot. House shot, you get maybe like a 4-board, 5-board window to make errors, and you'll still get some forgiveness. Whereas on sports shot, you get a 1-board window to miss. So you got to be precise. See what I mean? That I'm pretty certain if you look. That was a little more right of my target, but the ball still got back. Got a lot of room to miss. Part of that is the ball, but I think a bigger part of that is the conditions. This house shot makes it too easy. All right, so I believe we have made it to the 10th frame, and we are on a 5-bagger. I'm telling you, I am locked in with this dart code. Crazy how the most aggressive ball in my arsenal is the one that really is doing the business for me. I mean, look at that. That is unbelievable. That is now 6 in a row. I mean, it's like I said, playtime is over. It was time to get serious. I needed to make up for that horrible 155 in game 1. That went a little high, and yeah, like you could see my reaction there. I'm like, ooh, that was a little bit lucky. All right, so here we go for the last shot in the 10th. Can we take it off the sheet? That was a little right of target, but I got it. We struck out, we took it off the sheet, and we managed to finish with the 264. That is how you make up for the bad game in game 1 right there. And with that, we definitely confirmed that we took game 2, so we got some points on the board. We weren't about to let these guys back in it. Okay guys, so before we get game 3 started, I will tell you that while I was sitting down, I did the one thing that nobody should ever do, and that is I started doing the math. I was on my phone and I started putting in 700 because I'd thought about what happened on what I talked about on week 6. If you guys remember, I said something about how I needed a 700 series to get a 200 average. And I started thinking about that 700 series, so I got out my phone and I started doing the math. I was like, okay, so 700 minus 155 minus 264, and I found out that I needed a 281 if I wanted to reach 700. And I was thinking to myself, I don't know if I could do that because if there's one thing that I'm not really good at is being able to come in clutch when I need to. I'm not really good at that. But then that 281 was on my mind, and I still was a little bit confident because like this dart code, like I said, it was making it super easy. So I thought maybe I could do this. I don't know. Let's try these first few frames out and let's see what happens. So I believe for this one I was on 27 still. I didn't make any moves. Threw my shot and I 9-pinned. And as I was walking back, I told my teammates like, oh, no 300 for me tonight. And 300 kind of was on my mind because, like I said, I felt like I was locked in. I felt like I knew exactly what I needed to do. And for that, instantly I got the indication that, okay, we can no longer stand on 27. So I believe I made a half-board move because obviously the ball made it to the pocket. It was a good hit, but we passed right by the 9. So I made the move from 27 to 27 and a half. All right, so here we go on the right lane now. Still standing on 28, by the way, so no moves made. Good shot. Yeah, I put my hands up because I didn't think that was going to hold, but it held, so lucky me. So again, I started doing the one thing that nobody should do. I started thinking, okay, I just 9-spared in the first frame. I cannot miss from this point onward because I am en route for a 290. I started thinking about that, and like I said, you should never do that because then you're going to start to overwhelm yourself, you're going to start to think too much, and you're going to mess up. But I started doing that. Luckily, it wasn't affecting my shot making, but like I said, remember guys, I made the move from 27 to 27 and a half, and I found my shot, and I'm thinking, okay, I could totally do this. Focus. Stop thinking about that 290, but I couldn't stop thinking about it. All right, so here we go back on the right lane for the 4th frame. Still good. We're still good. 5th frame, back on the left. Hoping that I still got that path. Oh my God. That right there, you guys saw that, it only just made it. That was kind of a high hit. I then took a look at the monitor and I saw that my speed was slightly slower, and that's the reason for that high hit. So I thought, okay, I don't need to make any moves, so I just need to throw it a little quicker. But here we go on the 6th frame now. We're still good. We're still good. We're still alive. All right, here we go. Let me see, for 7 in a row, I believe. Lofted it a little, and it made it there. We're still alive. You know, one thing that I found to be very surprising that I didn't realize until after this whole thing was over is that when I'm in situations like this, I get so nervous, I get so shaky, and I get very, very sweaty. But I was surprisingly not sweating. Like, my hands get very, very clammy. But they weren't clammy here. I wasn't sweating, nothing. But I can tell you right now, I was feeling red hot on the inside. So, yeah, the nerves were really high on the inside, but on the outside, I was cool. I was doing great. Okay, guys, 9th frame, and man, this is just unbelievable. Super Saiyan mode activated or something. A little slow on the approach, but we're still good, still alive. You know what this reminds me of? If any of you watched my previous League series, I think we were on pair 3 and 4, and there was this guy. His name was Donnie Monzo. I don't know if any of you remember that. I can't remember what week it was, but he had like a 190 average or something like that, and he went off on the main stage. I think he bowled like a 290, and I can't remember what he bowled, but he achieved like a 721 series, and he was using a dark code, I believe. So I think it's kind of funny that I'm doing what I'm doing with the dark code on this pair. Okay, guys, as we get into the 10th, I will tell you right now, if any of you were there, you would probably be yelling in my face. You would probably be telling me, Frank, you put that stinking phone down, because I was doing the math. I was calculating. I realized that I needed to get yeah, there you can see right there. I needed to get a double and 1 pin. That's what I needed if I wanted to get 700. And I don't know why I did that, but it sure as hell made me even more nervous. Why am I stupid? So yeah, then the guy who was on the left lane, he was like, no, you go first. Everybody backed off because they couldn't believe what they were seeing. Everybody saw that 264 and were like, yeah, Frank, good game, good game. And then they saw this and they all just started gathering and just started to watch. Like, do I need to be any more nervous? Come on now. So then unfortunately this guy got in the way, so you couldn't see the shot, but we're still alive. We got one, and now we need one more to achieve 700. Here we go. For 699, fell off on it, light hit, but we got it, and that right there, I realized I got it, and I collapsed. I was done, it was over, I was relieved, the happiness, and this guy was like, dude, are you okay? Like, he actually tried to come up to check on me. It was hilarious, but yeah, I couldn't believe it. I had done the hard part, it was over. Now all I needed to do was just keep it on the lane, because I don't know why, but I started to think about what happened to Del Ballard. I can't believe I did that, but I started to think about, any of you remember? I can't remember what event it was, but it was long ago. It was Del Ballard versus Pete Weber, and Del stepped up in the 10th, and he did the hard part, and all he needed was count. And then he ended up guttering. And he was so pissed with himself, and he just he picked up his stuff and got the hell out of there. And I started to think about that, and I'm thinking, okay, do not do that, because all you need is 1 pin. That's it. That's all you need. And you know what? Take a listen to this. This was hilarious. Okay, so like, clearly you could hear everybody wanted me to strike out, but me, I didn't care. I put very little effort into that shot. I didn't care. I just wanted it to be over. I was done. I realized I had finally achieved what had been eluding me for so long. 700. You could see, I'm like, I'm done. I'm out of here. I did what I needed to do. I don't care for 290. I got it. I needed 281 and I got 288. I'm done. Yeah, so honestly, you guys have no idea how relieved and how happy I was about this. I was actually a lot more relieved that it was over because I couldn't take the pressure anymore, the stress. It was just too much. I was just glad it was done. But I tell you, I felt like I had just fought a freaking battle. It was intense. And again, we not only did I achieve 700, but we got the win. We won the series. I don't know where this is going to put us. I'm still waiting on the results right now as we speak. But yeah, we won the series, and I finally achieved my one of my other goals, 700. So now I believe that just leaves 300, and clearly, based on what happened, it's coming. It will be coming, and now that I think about it, I could have had back to back 300s if it had not been for what happened, if you think about it. So, like the nine spare in the first, that was because I didn't know that I would need to make a move. I didn't see any indication that I needed to make a move. But because remember, I left a nine pin. So, if I'd have known to make that move, I probably would have gotten 300 in this game. And then in the second game, when I got 264, it was because in the fourth frame where I threw the ball too slow. If I didn't do that, it probably would have been 300 as well. But no 300s for me, but that's okay because I got my 707 series. So finally we got it. It's done. And if you were to tell me that I would be able to get 700 in such epic fashion like this, I would have never believed you. All right, so now we can take a look at the summary for week 7. So, I guess you could say this is a perfect example of a weak start, and then suddenly, when you figure it out, you go off on the main stage. Because as you can see, game one, I started off with the 155, and then game two, we completely just turned this thing on its head and went to a 264. And then game three is as if things couldn't possibly get any better. I managed to come up with the most clutch performance I could possibly get to date, and I got a 288. So that gives us a total of 707 compared to last week's series total, 671. And as you can see, the series required to raise the average was 594. Totally annihilated that. So the pin total now after week 7 is 4,208 after 21 games played, and now I am back in the 200 club. So that's really good. So let's just hope I can keep it there because now we have the obstacle that is lanes 1 and 2, which we are going to be on next week. So now my new high game of all time in League is 288. And now my new highest series of all time in League is 707. So that feels so good. So now week 8 is definitely going to be interesting because we're going to see what happens. We all know that is lanes 1 and 2, man. That is my Everest, I tell you. But I definitely learned some lessons after what happened the last time we were on that pair. So I think I know what I need to do now. So I just hope that they oil the lanes properly this time compared to what happened last time. So anyway, that is week number 7. I hope you guys enjoyed that epic clutch performance. I'll see you guys in week 8.